Hello, everybody. Welcome to our travel talk this Wednesday. I want to thank you guys for being patient with us last week and just a little bit of an apology to start off. Just had some technical issues, but we've sorted everything out, and here we are. Happy to be here with you guys. So I'm joined here with Nadia today, and we're just going to be getting into our upcoming Salkantay trek to Machu Picchu. So just for those of you who might not be familiar with who we are at the Women's Travel Club, our main purpose here is to kind of cultivate interactive and unique tours planned by and for the women travelers. So all of our team members here are experienced travel lovers and have been on quite a few trips ourselves. So it's our goal to kind of take our experience and give our expertise to you. So our tours and our trips are geared towards both the solo and group traveler. We offer both single occupancy and double occupancy rates. So if you like to kind of travel by yourself in your own room, you have the opportunity to do so while also being a part of the group during the tour in the day. However, we also offer double occupancy and match you with a roommate who is another member of the club. And it's just an awesome way to make friends and kind of be a part of a community who has like-minded interests in travel and seeing new things and gaining amazing experiences across the world. So yeah, we have 3 different types of tours within our club. They get more luxurious as they go up, and this one that we're going to be talking about today is one of our signature tours, which kind of gives you a little bit more bells and whistles throughout the duration of your time with us. So Nadia is here with us today. She is a travel expert. As we like to say, she is a seasoned traveler on the Salkantay trek to Machu Picchu. So we just wanted to bring her in today to kind of give you guys a little bit of an overview of what this tour includes, as well as her own personal experiences and stories from the trek. So Nadia, I'm going to pass it over to you and you can kind of take it from here.
Thank you so much, Ali. Hello, my name is Nadia. I'm based in Berkeley, California, and I've traveled all over the world, but I spent a lot of time in Peru and especially in this area of Machu Picchu. And the Salkantay trek is certainly one of my favorite. I've done it about 6 times. I'll be happy to go through some images and then you ask questions as you need. Marianne has done the trek too, so I'm sure she'll be happy to contribute. And so just to give you an idea how to get to Peru if you haven't been before, it's really easy. There is a lot of flights from almost every hub. You have to go through Lima, and from Lima it's a short flight to Cusco, which is in the southern part of Peru, and that's where our program starts. And once you get to Cusco, we do visit the town, and then we take a bus to a small town in the mountains called Moyapata, and from there we start the Salkantay trek, which leads us to Machu Picchu. It's a beautiful mountain area in this southern part. So we work with a company in Peru that builds the lodges, and they're really concerned about sustainability and trying to work with local communities. So we feel good about how we operate this trip. And also just a brief idea of what the layout of the program is. You arrive in Cusco. We do a cooking class, we just visit the town, and then we start the trek. So you're basically hiking for 6 days through different terrain, from really high mountain glaciated peaks down to the cloud forest. And then we visit Machu Picchu, and then we return back to Cusco for our flights back. Cusco is a fabulous town. It's very colorful. It was the capital of the Inca Empire when the Spaniards arrived. So it has incredible structures still in place, stone structures, temples. And a lot of these structures have been sort of built over by the Spaniards, let's say. The churches and the big houses of the conquistadores are all built on structures by the Incas. And you can see some of these amazing walls made with such precision. This area is also an area that is very rich of indigenous cultures. So there's different indigenous groups throughout Peru. This is the Quechua people. And so you see markets, you see dancers occasionally in the street. They have amazing Baroque churches because of, you know, the Spanish Catholic Church. So we get a sense of this. We do a cooking class, so you get a sense of the type of food that you will enjoy throughout the trip. And then we stay in a local hotel, but very charming small hotel in the center of town, so you can walk everywhere on your own if you decide to arrive early, which is always good for acclimatization. Cusco is 11,000 feet, just as a reminder, so you get a bit of a cultural and as well as a physical shock. But if you can spend 3 nights there, it really helps your body to settle into the rhythm. And this is a sort of, I'm a map person, so I have to show this map because it makes so much more sense to explain how we come. So we come from this 11,000 feet Cusco. It's kind of a higher plateau just below the Andes. So the pass that we're going to cross to come over toward Machu Picchu is actually a real crossing of a mountain range. So like if you were to cross the Alps or to cross the Himalayas. So the pass is 15,000 feet, which seems quite like a very high pass. But again, consider you started at 11, then the first lodge is at 12,005, and then you spend 2 nights there and to acclimate, and then you cross the pass and quickly come back down to 12,800 on the second lodge. And then you keep coming down to Colpa, 9,000, Lucma, about 7,000. And this is the same elevation as Machu Picchu. As you can see, the terrain is quite varied because you go from this very high, you call it alpine tundra, but it's really Andean tundra, down to the cloud forest. And the cloud forest is an area that has the most biological diversity. If you were to continue down toward the east, you would get down into the Amazon proper. So these rivers will all end into the Amazon. And the citadel of Machu Picchu is here on a high ridge. So getting started, you leave Cusco in the morning, you drive for, I said, a couple of hours, then you stop in a village. We do a farm to table lunch. It's really nice. There is an organic farm. On the way, we also visit an archaeological site that is quite unusual because it has this amazing carving. It's like a temple to the moon. There are some women groups that we may be able to meet, depending. They do weavings and knitting, and that's always nice to pick up some souvenirs. And then we, from this village, we hike for about 2.5, 3 hours, depending again on the weather and the conditions. And we arrive at the first lodge. All lodges are very welcoming. They all have hot and cold drinks, a little towel. You can leave your boots outside or inside, depending. If it rains, they even clean your boots. And then you move on inside and you enjoy the comfort. And so here you are in this amazing lodge with this spectacular view. So you have a jacuzzi with the view of Salkantay. This is Mount Humaltai. There is a sauna nearby too. And this lodge has 12 rooms. So we spend 2 nights here to acclimate. So we may run into another group because groups are only 12 people each group. And so it's really small. It's all very comfortable. You get twin or double rooms as you prefer, bathroom, hot showers. There is a little stove here. You can see the view from the inside of the lodge. And then because you're spending 2 nights here, you have an opportunity on the second day to visit. There is a conservation project near the lodge, so you can see how they grow these endemic plants to repopulate the riverbanks. There is a river that comes down from the glaciers here, and it feeds the villages below. And it's really good to these efforts to make sure that the water comes down clean, more plants, because of course there are animals that roam around here too. And so that was day one of your trek. It's about 2.5 to 3 hours. If you don't feel good, you can still drive to this first lodge. The second day of the trek, you leave in the morning quite early for a hike to acclimatize about 2,000 feet higher. So you walk on a very comfortable trail. You occasionally can see condors in this area. And then you arrive at this very spectacular lake. It's just below the glacier. You can see how the erosion and the glacier has diminished. We do a morning, usually blessing with the shamans to bless the journey, and then we come back to the lodge for lunch. So you have an afternoon free at the lodge to repack, get ready for the next session, and then you head out for the pass on the third day of your trek. What happens? Your luggage is all carried by mules. So all you carry with you is your little day pack with maybe a rain jacket, some extra snacks, an extra jacket, whatever else you think you may need for the day. But you'll get to the next lodge by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so you have a late lunch there. You don't have to worry too much. And I want to show here the trails, because as you can see, these trails are pretty wide. They're never exposed. There are mule caravans that carry your luggage that use the same trails. So obviously there is space for a caravan of mules. And if you're lucky, like we were last November, the views are just stunning throughout this hike. Again, a view of the trail, comfortable. You go steep up for a while, but it is a lot of switchbacks, and then you get to the pass. Again, here it's about 15,000 feet. Very happy group here. What we do always, we have a horse that carries extra supplies, water, oxygen, medical kit. And if anybody feels not so good that day, you can always ride the horse for an hour, and that usually gets you over the hump. Every hour we stop for a snack. We drink, because we need to drink of the altitude. You can have a little snack that you packed in the morning. The guides have snack. There is always a guide in front and a guide in the back, so you never feel separated from the group. And every hour when we stop, we reconnect and move on. And it is a quite spectacular sight to be so close to the glaciers. And then you head down the other side to this second lodge, which is about 12,800. We only have 6 rooms here, so it's really small. It's like a private home for friends, so you sit around, the cooks make your dinner. It's an incredible place for stargazing, because you have, such a clear view of the sky and the Milky Way, especially in this area. So we have a jacuzzi also in this lodge. It's inside the courtyard because it's more protected that way. And then the next day, again, you start the descent into the cloud forest. As you can see, this is November. Peru has a rainy season, November through March, and then you have a dry season, a bit like California does. So this is more sort of brown in the fall. If you go in the spring, or like you guys I guess you're going in September, so it's still probably a little greener. But the trail, as you see, are pretty wide. This is our group leaving the second lodge. And then you continue down. We recommend bringing hiking poles, because Well, the trails are pretty comfortable, but sometimes going downhill, if there are rocks or um, people have problems with their knees, it's always good to have hiking poles. And you can see the horses following, just in case an emergency. And as we come down, it all becomes more green. There are starting to see little farms. You see butterflies and birds. It changes so quickly. And this is lodge number 3. As you can see, the jacuzzi here on the left side. You have a view from this position over a confluence of 2 different rivers, which is quite a beautiful scenery too. And this green mountainside is a private reserve for the spectacle bear. It's a bear that has white rings around their eyes, and they're very nocturnal, so you don't really get to see them. But they're also endangered because of the encroaching farms, higher and higher in the forest. At this lodge, because we get in, it's only a half-day walk today. We do a pachamanca meal, which is a meal that is cooked under hot stones. You have different kinds of meats, including guinea pig, potatoes, bananas, and stuff. It's a real feast. You will enjoy that. Dinners at the lodges are always sort of white tablecloths with three-course meal. Every day you get snacks in the morning that you can put in your day pack. You get tea and cookies in the afternoon. People gain weight on this trip. And then you continue to descend into what, again, we call the cloud forest. And you go, through areas of bamboo trees. You get, again, flowers and orchids. The guides are amazing in telling history of the places as well as interpreting the natural history, plants, birds. And then lodge number 4 is set in an area of orchards of avocado and coffee, bananas. So it's more a rural area at this point. But as you can see, you get your jacuzzi. You get a welcome cold drink here because, of course, it's warmer. It's about 7,000 feet. We have Wi-Fi at all the lodges, so you can send messages, you can forward your pictures, you can relax, you can get a massage at every lodge. That's really nice, especially after the first couple of days when you're not acclimated or in shape yet. We at this lodge, we go visit one of the farms. It's an organic coffee farm, and this is the guide explaining how things work. And they actually show you how they, roast the coffee. You get a taste. You can buy some coffee if you like. It's nice to have some interaction with the communities, and it's one way to give back. And from this 4th lodge, we have our last day of trekking. So it's day number 6. We go from sort of lower down in the valley. We have to cross another pass on the right side here. And right below the pass, you see a quite spectacular Inca structure. It's what they call it, a fort. And from some of the windows of this fort, you can look straight into Machu Picchu. You can't see it on the left picture, but you can see it on the right. You can see Machu Picchu here, this ridge with Huayna Picchu and Machu Picchu Mountain. The Incas tended to build their structures with an east-west direction because of their beliefs in the celestial, references and deities. So Huayna Picchu, Machu Picchu is right on this ridge, and we come down from the southeast, and then we come down, and then we have to go all the way down to the bottom of the river between where we are and Machu Picchu here. And I'll show you in a minute more. So it's a long day of downhill, maybe 2.5 hours downhill and maybe 2 hours up. It's much warmer here. Again, you're going through areas of orchards, farming. In the Inca times, you were probably able to go from this building all the way to Machu Picchu along a trail on this mountain, crossing the river. And but the trail has not been restored, so we unfortunately have to go down to the river to get to Machu Picchu. So just to kind of summarize, you can see even just from the way where the lodges are, how different the landscapes are, from the glaciers and the mountains to the cloud forest and then the rural communities. And when we get down to the river on day 6 of the trek, here where it says Aubamba River, there is an hydroelectric plant. From here, we have to take a short train ride, about 40 minutes, along this bend to arrive to the town of Aguas Calientes, which means hot springs. See, Machu Picchu is built right on this bend of the river with overviews, obviously, over the river. And when we arrive at the town of Aguas Calientes, here is a small picture. You see the train. We disembark, get to our hotel, beautiful hotel, I'll show you in a minute. And the next day, we take this switchback road with a bus. We have to take a public bus. There's no private transportation. Everybody lines up and take the bus, and it's about 20 minutes to Machu Picchu itself. So we get here and we enter the sanctuary. We stay at the Inca Pueblo Hotel, which is lovely. It has a lot of, it has, I think, 2 acres of land, or not 2 acres, maybe 2 hectares. It's a really large compound. They have a lot of birds and orchids. You can walk around. There is jacuzzi, massage. Really a very interesting place. And from there, as I mentioned, we take the bus up to the sanctuary. When we get to the sanctuary, we have to have a ticket that is bought in advance. So we need to have your passport information very early on, because there is a limit to the number of tickets and we have to buy them quite early. I would say 3 months before, we should probably buy the tickets. So we need that information. And then there are limits to how long you can stay in the sanctuary. We normally enter about between 8 and 9 in the morning. The guide usually takes you to a viewpoint and tells you more about the layout of the archaeological site. And then slowly we walk down and start walking through the center of the archaeological site. And that will take about 2.5 hours, more or less. Some people may want to do the hike to Huayna Picchu, which is this peak. It may not look like there is a trail, but there actually is a trail, like a switchback staircase that goes up. From up there, you have really impressive views. On the right side, you can see the view from Huayna Picchu. It's probably not for the faint of heart, because the staircase, it's a stone staircase with some protection, but not a lot of it. So this is the view. And here you can see also the switchback road that we came by bus to the entrance. And so it's nice to have done the 6-day trek and then arrive at Machu Picchu, rather than just sort of drive in or take the bus or the train from Cusco. You have the sense that you've earned this experience. In 6 days, the guides have told you everything you need to know about the Incas and what it was like, and the history of the conquistadores. So you have a better understanding of the whole system. So it's really quite a nice experience to arrive here at the end of the trek. After we're done with the trek, we the next day we take the train back. We cannot go by train all the way to Cusco. We have to go to a town called Ollantaytambo, which is also a very interesting Inca town. And from there, we go back to actually straight to Cusco airport and fly out. As I said earlier, if you have the time, arriving a day early in Cusco would be really well worth your time, because there is so much to see. These little cobblestone streets, and you can see Inca walls everywhere here. This is the cathedral, beautiful. There is a lot of artisans and art along the just the roads, lots of handicrafts and so forth. So, you have the combination of culture, but then you have this amazing trek. You see the mountains. You are comforted at every level because you are very comfortable accommodation. You have two guides walking with you throughout, sharing their knowledge, and you see, one of the seven wonders of the world. So, just to summarize again, just to give you a sense of the geography, here again is Cusco. You're going toward Moyapata, here where they see the mountains. This is the Salkantay trek with the Salkantay Pass. Then head down to the cloud forest, Machu Picchu. And here you can see the section of the train from the end of the green line. You see this little promontory that sticks out. That we take the first little short train ride, and then we take a train ride back to Ollantaytambo when we leave Machu Picchu. And this is about an hour and a half train ride. And from Ollantaytambo, we have to drive to Cusco, which is another about hour and 20 minutes or so. So that's sort of the general sense of the trek. Why should you do this trip as opposed to, you can do a 4-day Inca trail, of course. It's also really spectacular. This is a program that does not require a permit. So the Inca Trail is a national park and you have to book it 6 months in advance or more. You have everything is included, except for the guide tips. So we have wine and beer and jacuzzis all included. Massage is not included, I have to say. You have this small group of 12 people with guides. All your luggage is being carried. And you spend the night in these beautiful lodges, and God forbid it rains, you're nice and cozy and really enjoying a good time. In the camaraderie of your group is really important. And if we have enough of like 8 or 9 or 10 people, we can have the lodges all by ourselves. So it's like a very intimate experience. And so I invite you to consider this as a really comfortable, wonderful trip. And I'll be happy to take any questions.
As well, we do have Marianne with us here, who has also done this trek as well. So little dog friend here. But sorry. I just want to say before we kind of get into questions, if there are any, I'm blown away right now. Like I'm watching this, and I know you kind of went through this with us before, and obviously I'm aware of our tours, but just seeing it in this kind of context in the pictures, and what I was saying to Marianne is the lodges, I think, is what really blows me away. Obviously Machu Picchu, it's one of the natural wonders of the world, but the trek to get there. And I really liked what you said, Nadia, about earning your prize at the end, and what the journey to earn, right? Like, getting to sit in the hot tubs looking at the mountains, it's just, how do you beat that? So I'm just, it's just incredible. So
it was, when I did it, it was, the trekking's not easy. It's a fairly strenuous trek, and knowing that at the end of this trek, and none of the treks were like that long. You were always at the lodges, I think, by like lunchtime, like maybe late lunch, but lunchtime. So you had that afternoon to relax, and it was just always in my mind, we're gonna get to the next beautiful lodge, and you get there and the food is outstanding. The food is just so good, and there's wine, it's relaxed, you're chatting, you're enjoying the company of the people you're with. So it really was a mixture of these tough hikes with great comfort and relaxation every day.
the great rewards. Hard work for the great rewards. I do see Kathy has asked a question here in the comments about what's size of day
pack.
Oh, sorry. What size of day pack do you recommend, and what type of luggage is easy for the porters to carry? So I don't know if either of you have...
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't mention that. So for luggage to carry, we recommend soft duffels because they're loaded on a mule. So you don't want those hard luggage with wheels. What happens is that the company we work with there provides those soft duffels. So if you don't really have to buy one, you just bring your regular luggage, and then you say, I need to trade with the soft luggage, and so they give you a loaner duffel bag. So you put your stuff in the duffel. At the end of the trek, you go back to the hotel, repack, or they can. Yeah, you're not going back to the hotel, but you can repack. Yeah, you can. They'll figure out one way that you can repack your luggage. I always do that. It's so much convenient. And for the day, you just need a day pack that is big enough that you probably use when you go hiking in your area. I would always have a rain jacket, and I would have a warm hat and gloves just in case, a water bottle, maybe two small, either a big one or two small ones. But they always have water. The horses have water on the trek, so you don't really need to carry extra water bottles. Just and people now use their phones for pictures, so you don't even need extra stuff. You may want to use a battery pack if you think you're going to take a lot of pictures. Yeah, just whatever you would use to go on a hike in your area. Just normally you would bring a rain jacket and maybe a light down jacket, because the best thing to do is layer, as you all know. So I would always wear one of these synthetic long underwear type under, and maybe a shirt, like one of those outdoors sun protecting shirts. And then you can put on top of that a down jacket, a light down jacket, and a rain jacket. But then you take it off as the day goes on. And especially in the second part, when you start down in the cloud forest, you probably just hike in a shirt with a t-shirt underneath, or a very light, something light. So you don't need it to buy a new backpack. Just use what you have.
Just something small, like even almost like a cinch sack would work. Just put, like a water bottle, a jacket. I don't think we took very much, and they carry water. They have snacks. Stop for a snack, and the guide will pull out his little pack and have like fresh baked muffins or something that from the lodge and give it to everybody. So yeah, I think I might not have carried anything because I was with Kevin. I was like, it's a hard hike. You carry it. So I might not have carried anything of mine.
But the other thing, you can always, if somebody really doesn't feel well on the uphill to the pass, you can always put the pack on the horse.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah. So kind of piggybacking onto that point there, Nadia, because I, as somebody who would want to do this myself one day, maybe somebody has the same question as me, I don't know. But if somebody, let's say I wasn't feeling well on one of the trek days, and I were to, give my backpack to the horse, would there be any opportunity to rest, or am I meant to kind of push through it and keep going? What's kind of the procedure-ish there?
Yeah, so there is very strict protocols for high altitude issues, and also any kind of medical issues we may have. So because we spent 2 nights at the first lodge, the guides have a sense of how people are doing. So, and especially doing the acclimatization hike on day 2, if someone doesn't feel good after the first day, they may want to skip the acclimatization hike and rest, because really rest and hydration is what deals with the altitude, right? What helps with the altitude. So, or last time I actually drove to the first lodge because I had a really busy schedule in Cusco, and I just felt like I didn't feel like hiking that day. So I drove to the first lodge, rested, and then I was perfectly fine. So sometimes it's just a matter of how you plan and the guides are so good because they can tell right away how someone is behaving or slowing down or not being so. Um, no, you can slow down. There is also extra horses at the first lodge that if someone doesn't feel good, they can also hire a horse for just that day.
Okay.
Because once you start going down, it's easy. We do have gamma bags at the first two lodges. Those you can go into this bag and it's pressurized. There is oxygen at all lodges. It's only used for medical issues. We don't give it out for fun, sort of. One thing I personally recommend is not drink too much alcohol the first two lodges, even though it sounds really appealing. Alcohol and altitude don't mix, and I know we do include alcohol because it's done, but one pisco sour is fine. No, don't go to two pisco sour in the hot tub. Um, that kind of stuff. But they're pretty controlled. And if somebody feels really sick at the first lodge, then they have to go back. There's no point in taking a very sick person over the pass. But that's so rare because most people are smart enough to come in for 2 nights in Cusco at the beginning. That really helps. 2 nights at the second lodge really helps. And some people take Diamox, which is a prescription drug that helps with helps you sleep better at altitude, which means you're gonna breathe better. But most people are just perfectly fine taking the time and walking slowly and drinking a lot of liquids. There is coca tea, mint tea, any kind of tea.
Yeah, because we do have, I see a comment here from Annette saying she was in Bolivia some time ago and got sick at, I don't know.
Lake Titicaca, but I think isn't Lake Titicaca very high? I think
Lake Titicaca is 13,000 feet, so higher than our first lodge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it depends. If you drive to a place that is that high, you can feel it. It's like when you get to Cusco from Lima, you're going from sea level to 11,000 feet. The first day, it does feel like, you feel odd, you feel headachy and a little awkward, but that's when you take it easy, take a nap in the afternoon, eat lightly. Eat lightly. That's also because it takes a lot of effort to digest meat and heavy meals. So it's just a matter of doing it right, and then it helps.
Yeah. So there, like you said, and just in case Annette might have not been in the live for this point made, but she's asked if there will be medical assistance if needed. If you just
So
want
the guides all are certified in wilderness first aid course. We have a physician on call. So usually what would happen is from the first lodge, the guides would call the doctor and say, this person is behaving strangely, whatever do you think? They can provide some oxygen, they can provide some prescription drugs if the doctor recommends them. And if absolutely somebody is not responding, they have to get out. And they take him to Cusco, and there is several clinics that are well equipped to deal with that. But it's happened so rarely that we have people take out.
Everybody on my group was on a preventative medication for altitude sickness too. So if you go to a travel clinic before you go, tell them that you're going to be at an elevation. They'll give you a prescription, and you just start taking it when you get there and take it the whole time you're there. And everybody in our group was on it. And they also the guides have an oxygen meter with you that goes on your fingers.
Yeah.
So they can check if you think, oh, I think I might be feeling funny, they can check your oxygen level. And make sure you're okay.
The other thing is, I didn't mention, the day before you start the trek in Cusco, the evening before, there will be um, a specific meeting with the guides that will tell you what's going on the next day. They'll check your equipment. They ask you questions, how you're feeling. They will answer also questions about, what to do, and they'll tell you, recommending that you drink a lot. Really, you're going to the bathroom all the time, but you drink a lot, and that really helps. Honestly, it's a proven. Usually 2 or 3 days, and you're perfectly settled. You just have to walk slowly as well because of catching your breath and so.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's so much fun. I mean, it's such a fun trip to do.
Yeah. Oh, it was literally one of the most amazing things I've ever done. It was hard, and I was not in shape. Let me tell you, I knew it was coming for a long time, and for a long time I was like, I'm going to, get to the gym. I'm going to walk. I'm going to do this. I'm going to and of course, work got in the way, and I didn't. And I thought, oh, I'm doomed when I went because I really wasn't in shape. But you just go. You go at a nice pace. There's lots of stops, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy trek, especially at the elevation and going up. You have to do a lot of stops. You get out of breath easily, but it's completely doable. And it had to be one of the most amazing things I've ever done, and I just felt so accomplished when I did it. I to this day so happy I did it, and I would do it again. It was,
you also need. It would be like you said, you didn't have the time, but most people that plan this trip tend to get in shape, and so it becomes a lot easier if you spend your weekends doing like 2 or 3 hour hikes. That really helps rather than, and of course, if you go to the gym, then you build up more cardio strength. But doing a long walk is very good too, because that's not what we normally do, right? We always do our exercises in short bursts. Go for a 3 hour hike in the hills if you can. That really helps.
Anybody has any more questions that they'd like to ask? The comments are open. We'll just leave that there. Are there any, just, out of my own curiosity, which lodge out of the different ones would have to be each of your favorites?
oh, I don't know.
That's a big question, I feel.
Let's see if I find the lodges here.
Yeah, I think, the first lodge, because you can see the Salkantay mountain from it, which is just spectacular, like that view. So that's the one in the top kind of left corner.
Yeah.
That truly, the views from that lodge were unbelievable. And I think because it was the first lodge, it was the first taste of kind of the look of the lodges, which was very authentic. And also the food. It was the first, you're not supposed to eat a lot, and then they have these chefs that give you the most amazing food. But that food was also very, it was very organic. Everything was grown right there. They're not bringing a lot of stuff into these lodges. They're very remote. There's no roads. There's no way to get to these lodges except by kind of mule. So the food that's there is coming from the communities around there, and it's grown there. It's very fresh, very organic, and you feel like you're eating healthy, but the taste, it was outstanding.
Awesome. What about you, Nadia?
Well, I kind of like the first one, the views and the jacuzzi and everything is nice. The second one, the one down on the bottom right, is only 6 rooms. It's very remote. There's hardly anybody up there, and you have this sense of being more higher, closer to the sky somehow. And again, the sky. the stargazing in
Right.
both of them actually can be quite amazing, because at high altitude it's clearer, and so you can see them. Yeah, it's all kind of different, really. I have to say one thing, Marianne, maybe since you've been there. So now there is obviously a road to the first lodge, and then there is actually a road to the third lodge.
Oh, really? Okay.
It used to be a sort of a four-wheel drive path, sort of. It's still kind of a four-wheel drive road, but if in the case of emergency, it's nice to have an exit.
Yeah.
And we do try not to. We normally walk on the trail across the river. So, but there has been situation where if the weather is not good and the trail can be a little difficult, that we have walked segments of the road. But just to mention, for emergencies, we have extra outings now.
Is that the lodge where the coffee plantation is?
No, the one on the bottom left, the Colpa, is that there is a road that comes nearby it.
Oh, okay.
The one with the coffee on the very top, the road is about half an hour away from the lodge, so you still have to walk the last half hour, which is a real Inca trail, a restored Inca trail. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other remarks or any must-knows that you guys think the ladies might need to know about this tour?
I just can't again speak highly enough. It's there's the Inca Trail, which is the one that you see most often that goes into Machu Picchu, and a lot of people hike that trail. This trail's harder, but that trail you have to camp. This trail you get like chef cooked meals. So I would go with this one.
Yeah.
Tough it out.
It's just
I'm sorry. I want to say something about the Inca Trail, because the Inca Trail is inside the national park, so there's no people, so you don't see local people at all, and there are more archaeological sites because it's a true Inca trail, so you have a lot of steps. And I have to disagree with Marianne, because the problem with the Inca Trail, while you don't go, you almost go as high, but not as high, maybe 1,000 feet lower in the Inca Trail. It's mostly steps.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to walk up and down stone steps. Mm-hmm. Here you're walking on trails, and some of the trails are switchbacks and so forth. So it may seem, I would not say that it's more difficult, because it's really hard on the thing is the classic Inca Trail is only 4 days, and this is 6 days. So you're spreading over a longer period of time, and you have diverse types of trails, which you don't really have steps here.
No, this is like dirt trail all the way.
Yeah. So, which is, in a lot of cases, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
But, everybody's different. So.
Right. Well, if there aren't any more comments from the ladies viewing, I think we can kind of wrap up.
And if anybody has questions, if you're thinking, I think I'd like to do this, but I'm just still a little unsure about it, or want more information, give us a call. So our number's up on the screen right now, 1-844-749-0725. Just call and just ask us questions, chat with us about it, because we love to chat about any of the tours.
Yes.
So we love when people call, just ask questions, and so do that. Or if you want to send us an email, you can do that too. On our website, the schedule. On our website, if you go there, the full itinerary is there, so you can see the day-by-day itinerary. So just look on the website, and if you go under the search, there's like a drop down for destinations. Look under Peru, it'll come up, and you can have a look at the full itinerary there. Nadia, can you put up the daily schedule again, please? Somebody just asked in the
Sure,
comments.
sure. Let me. Sorry, I'm gonna go back. Sorry, I'm gonna run through this a little bit because I have to get back. Oops, there we go. Sorry, here it is. Oopsie.
Thank you, Kathy.
Got stuck. I just went too fast. Oopsie. Yeah. So it's 11 days arriving home. So it's 6 days of hiking. Then you have 1 day in Cusco, and then you have to, the flying time.
Yeah, so the first day, it's like arrive in Cusco. There's a couple nights in Cusco to give you some time to acclimatize. The hotel we stay in is super cute. It's very authentic. And Cusco is just a lovely little town. We do a cooking class up on a roof. So yeah, you get to learn a bit about the food there and get to see the whole town. And then we leave Cusco on the second day and start heading out towards the start of the trek. We stop at lunch at that organic farm. Excellent lunch, and they make jam there, so you can buy jams and take them home with you. And then you have that 2 to 3 hour hike up to the first lodge. So the vehicle you're in will actually drop you off at a point where you can start the trek. And like Nadia said, the vehicle then is going to take your luggage up to the lodge. So if at that point you're like, I don't want to walk yet, you can. But it's not a hard hike. And it poured rain.
Oh, no.
But it was a good way to just start getting there and get moving, because you are at altitude and everything works a little differently. And then the next day you have just that hike out from that lodge. So you just hike out to Humanitai Lake, which is beautiful. It's like a glacial lake, so it's like really that kind of light blue. It's really pretty. So you hike there and hike back, and just stay at the same lodge again. And then the next day you start. And that day is, I'd say, that with the pass over, with the views of the mountain, and that pass is the highest. And I think that was the hardest trek, was for me. And then from there, everything kind of is downhill, a little up and a little down, but it's pretty easy from there. So that would be the one day that was kind of a tough trek. And then you get into Aguas Calientes. The hotel that we stay at in Aguas Calientes, the Inca Pueblo, is, and I travel a fair bit, everybody that's on here that knows me, one of my probably top 5 hotels in the world. I love this hotel. I love the grounds. I love the feel of it and the restaurant. So it's like an amazing hotel right there. And then that's kind of it. So I hope, Caroline, I hope that kind of gives you a good rundown. Again, the whole itinerary is up on the website, so feel free to go and check that out. And any questions, you can send us an email or give us a call.
Yeah, as I said in the beginning, this company, this club is women travelers for women travelers. So we're all here we just want to talk and share our knowledge and experience with you, and give you the opportunities to have these once in a lifetime opportunities and tours. So I really hope you guys take advantage.
And also, I think the trek is like just over half full now. So if you are thinking, I would, probably get on that sooner than later.
Definitely. So yeah, thank you again, Nadia, for putting this together for us. I'm sure I've got some thank yous here in the comments from the ladies, but from Marianne and myself, we just want to say thank you for taking the time to not only be here last week, but to be here with us again. So just thank you for that. We all.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for asking me.
Thank you so much, Nadia.
Of course. And again, call us or email us if you ladies need absolutely anything.
And thank you for taking the time to come be with us. The travel talks are coming back. So
We're
it's going
working
to
on it.
start to be
Weekly.
every Wednesday at 3:00. So keep that in mind for future, and learn about some great travel options and just different things about travel all over the world. All right. Okay.
All right.
Have a good
gonna-
afternoon,
We're
everyone.
gonna sign off. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.